play, doing all types of artistic things. So I believe that being an artist is really something that you're born doing. Through the years, my parents have cultivated, my artistic skills by exposing me to, different art programs and things of that nature. They have cultivated, and art was something that I always loved. So probably like somewhere around like middle school, I knew that whatever I was going to do as professionally as an adult, it would have to involve some way around design and art. And pretty much through my whole life, every job I've had has been about that. One of the biggest misconceptions about tattoo parlors in the neighborhood is that it brings riffraff, brings gangs, motorcycle clubs, and that type of thing. I remember when I was first opening my business, I had to pay an expensive price to have a public hearing to make sure that no residents around the area that had a problem with the tattoo parlor being located in their neighborhoods. But nowadays it's becoming more popular. It's growing into a multi-billion-dollar industry, and more people are starting to get tattoos, and it's becoming a common thing. Things to look for when you're trying to decide what tattoo parlor to go to is number one, most important. Make sure that they're licensed. Make sure they have a state license. Make sure that they have their city credentials. Second, you want to look at the quality of the work. A lot of people, they just jump into somebody's chair and they don't look at the artwork of the person. They don't know the person's experience. So that's a quick way to really get messed up. Get some artwork that you'll regret. So when you look at somebody's artwork, you want to look for clean lines. You want to look at smooth blends, smooth shading, good color saturation. You also want to look at the skin. If it's a picture of a fresh tattoo, you want to look at the skin and make sure that the skin doesn't look too beat up or too bloody. The art of tattoo is basically getting the ink in the skin as effectively as possible without causing too much trauma. One of the tattoo artists is currently with me. We also do guest spots for different artists who come in from out of town. I have one piercer that's here, and I have two other staff members. Well, I stay in Detroit because I love Detroit. I was born and raised here. I also started my art career here, so I have a lot of connections, a lot of resources, and I wanted to provide quality service for the city of Detroit.
All right, Detroit Inspired. We apologize for technical difficulties, but always something happens when we get it set up. We get it set up beforehand, but never predict technology. I want anyone who has an open seat, please raise your hand because we've got almost an overflow crowd here today. We have some folks who need some seats. If you have an open seat, please raise your hand. And Edwina, please help them out. All right, without further ado, we will bring forward the gentleman who discovered art in high school, has since been a professional artist since 1998. The gentleman who has a bachelor's from Wayne State University in graphic design. The gentleman who was a former City of Detroit employee. That's why I met him a long time ago, back in the early 2000s. He's had a host of awards, scholarships, and grants, commissions. This is the man here. I really appreciate this gentleman. All tattoo parlors are not created equally, I must say. And all tattoo artists are not either, but we got a great one here today, Mr. Jason Phillips. Give it up for Jason Phillips.
Good job, Reggie. Good job with the video. Thanks. I want to thank Councilman James Tate for the opportunity to come out here and speak to you all. He said, come on out and tell them about yourself. But before he did that, he read my resume. So you guys pretty much know about me. But I'm a City of Detroiter. I went to Cass Tech High School, majored in CT fired up. Majored in commercial arts at Cass Tech, and that's where I really started to develop my love for arts. I've since then became an advocate for the arts here in Detroit. I've always participated with the Arts League of Michigan, the National Conference of Artists over at the Northwest Activity Center. I don't know if any of you guys had the opportunity to visit that gallery there. It's headed by Shirley Woodson. It's an excellent venue to learn about the arts. If you're not an artist, they highlight different artists every week. They meet on the first Saturday of each month over there. But yeah, so went to high school, went to college, and decided I was just gonna, become an artist. And I did some design work, as Tate said, for the city of Detroit for 5 years. Worked for the communication department, where we packaged and gave a face to a lot of the mayor's agendas. I designed a lot of the Angels Night billboards that you probably were familiar with. All those agendas. There used to be Kids Cops Clean with Kilpatrick and everything. Did a lot of work. It was fun. And once all the rounds of layoffs and stuff went on, I continued doing graphic design on the side. And the recession came, and it became harder to also sell, fine art. I do predominantly, African American art because it's my experience here. So a lot of my clientele is African Americans, and that the collectors in that area kind of slim. So when the recession came, it became harder to sell, $1,000 oil paintings, you know what I mean? Because everybody was holding on to their money. And I noticed around that time that a lot of my friends were coming to me asking me to do drawings for their tattoo. Like, I need a picture of this so I can get this tatted. I'm like, why is everybody asking me to draw pictures, little drawings for their tattoos and stuff all of a sudden? So I noticed that it was a trend, and I decided that I was going to learn how to tattoo. And I'm glad that I did it because, once I started learning it, I did an apprenticeship for about half a year at a company that was located in the Rosedale Palmer Park area. It was called Body Candy Tattoo. It was located on Grand River. I did an apprenticeship there, and I discovered a love for an appreciation for the medium. Skin is a lot different than paper. It's a lot challenging because people are moving. People have different types of skin. It's just a challenge. There's so many different types of needles and techniques that you can use to get the image into the skin. You get to meet all types of people from different backgrounds. It's interesting. You become a counselor sometimes because people are going through things, and that might be the reason why they get in a tattoo, and they just feel the demons. They just need somebody to talk to, while they go through the process. So it's kind of cool. So where was I? Body Candy. So Body Candy folded, and I, during the time, I did a mural for the Advantage First Healthcare Center, and did some illustrations, 5 illustration books for the University of Michigan, and I just stacked that money. And I was looking into trying to purchase a building, and wound up just getting into a lease. I stayed in the neighborhood right there on 6 Mile and Evergreen, so it allowed us to keep our same clientele. And that's the history of Detroit Ink Spot. So if you're interested in getting tattoos, or if you're interested in buying art, we do have an area up in there where we highlight emerging artists. So we always have art on our walls. So if you're interested in collecting art, you can come on by. I also had the Black Tattoo Art and Music Expo. The last 2 years we did it at Eastern Market. This year it's grown so much that we're doing it a 2-day event. It's going to be held at the Edward Hotel in Dearborn. It's July 21st and July 27th. So if you have a small business, or if you have a larger business and you're interested in helping out, the arts in the community, you want to be a sponsor, please contact me. You can also visit the website. It's www.btame313.com, and it has all the information. We're also doing a pop-up for one day down in Jacksonville Memorial Weekend. So this need to expose the arts to African Americans, expose African American artists to the community is growing, and we're noticing it in every city because the arts is being sucked out of the public school system. So that need is very necessary. So just wanted to put you on to that, and if you have any questions or anything, just pull me to the side and just ask me. Okay? So I think my time is up.
Before he does leave, any questions at all for Jason? All right, give it up for Jason Phillips. And where are you located again?
6 Mile and Evergreen, 19845 West McNichols. It's right on the corner. It used to be the old Chauncey's record store. Yeah, right up in there. We're open from noon to 9 o'clock in the evening. So if you have to go to work and you want to get some artwork, after work, we're probably going to be there after work for you. Okay. 19845 West McNichols. The phone number is 313-202-9737, and we stay real busy, so 9 times out of 10 it's best to have a little consultation. Come on in, tell us about your project, and then we can set an appointment for you. It's kind of hard to get, just walk right in. Like Video said, we have Lady L Tattoos there. She's a 2-time Best in Black Award recipient for Best Tattoo Artist in the city. And I'm an art snob. I don't hire anybody who doesn't know what they're doing. The shop's only as good as its weakest link. We have no weak link, so stay busy. All right.
And lastly, I know if somebody has a horrible tattoo, some folks got tattoos and they're, in a certain state of mind, and they wanted to get that cleaned up. Tell us about that as well.
Oh yeah, we also specialize in cover-ups. A couple of the videos that were put into the video that you saw, where it was a comparison, one picture on one side, one picture on the other, that was a cover-up. So we do an excellent job of doing artwork on top of an older piece where you can't tell if the piece was there. It's an alternative way of getting rid of an old piece instead of getting like a laser removal, which is very expensive and you have to go through several sessions, and they say it hurts more than getting an actual tattoo. Oh, and tattoos does hurt. Getting a tattoo. People always ask, does it hurt? It hurts, but it's not unbearable. You know what I mean? Like you can take it. There's also numbing agents that you can get to if you want to cheat. You apply it to your skin about 40 minutes before the procedure, and then it helps out. It just has lidocaine in it, But there's a lot of weak people with tattoos, so I think I tell everybody you can do it, man. Man, just stay still. That's the most important thing.
Y'all give it up for Jason Phillips. Detroit Ink Spot. D1, Discover D1 Business Spotlight for March. Jason actually alluded to the bankruptcy and the financial situation that we're in. You all know where we were in 2006, 7, 8, especially 8. It was real tough. And the city of Detroit decided to unload a number of different properties. Wisely or not wisely, that's what the city of Detroit did. We had a number of precincts, if you remember, that were unloaded and sat in a various state of disrepair. We also had a golf course that we knew and loved that had a history behind it, and it was unloaded as well. Greater Grace Temple decided they wanted to purchase it because it was very close to their property and wanted to do what they could to maintain the sanctity of their property. Unfortunately, times got tough. Things didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. And so now the city of Detroit has decided to purchase that property from Greater Grace Temple. We'll take that because it's more than just a purchase. The hand clap should be for what's coming next. We want to make sure that you all know what's coming next, and you will have an opportunity to participate in what comes next. And who's coming up next is Miss Kate Humphrey from the Housing and Revitalization Department. Do you want to show the video first, or do you want to? There's no video? Okay, come on up, Kate. Kate Humphrey, y'all. Give it up. One of our planners down there at the city of Detroit. So, Kate, if you can just give them an overview of the whole process in the acquisition and what comes next, and also how the community will be able to participate.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So Like Councilmember Tate said, some of you may have seen in the news, City announced we're going to go back and reacquire the former Rogel Golf Course. City Council just approved this acquisition actually last Tuesday, so thanks very much to Councilmember Tate and his colleagues for helping get us to that important next step. I'm going to talk a little bit this morning about some of the work that we've already done at the city with the Planning and Development Department, Housing and Revitalization, General Services Department, and the Water and Sewerage Department as well, about how we've gotten to where we are now and where we'll be going in the next few months. So next slide, please. So I'm sure many of you are very familiar with the site and where it's located. It's 120 acres at the southwest corner of the intersection of 7 Mile and Losser Roads. Rouge River runs through the western parcel. Berg Road also goes down the middle. This is very close to Old Redford, which has been kind of the core focus of some of our planning efforts that I'll talk about a little bit as well. Hasn't operated as a golf course since 2013. We know that some of the residents have been frustrated and concerned with the condition of the property, so we're hoping that the city has a real opportunity to improve how that property looks and how it kind of functions and make it serve as an asset for the neighborhood again, instead of kind of the liability it's become today. So a little bit about what I'm going to talk about this morning, give a little context as far as the bigger planning work that's gone on in the past 18 months or so and how Rogel fits into that. Talk about some of the site analysis that we had consultants help us look at the conceptual master plan that we think would be a good fit for the site, and then talk a lot about the future and how there'll be more opportunities for involvement as far as what happens at the site. So over the first 6 months of last year in 2017, the Planning and Development Department led a neighborhood planning study for this area. This is only about 8 square miles, so I guess that makes up a little bit less than half of District 1. And the plan there really did cover a lot of ground, largely in those 4 kind of scope buckets, looking at green stormwater infrastructure, knowing about the flooding challenges that exist in District 1, trying to find strategies to enhance open space in the public realm, improve connectivity and the experience of travel, especially along Green River Avenue, knowing that can be challenging for pedestrians and cyclists, and then also looking at whether or not there are opportunities to create new housing and economic development opportunities. And so that planning process mostly happened last year. We're getting ready in about a month to come back on April 26th and kind of present some of those first step implementation projects that will be coming out of that plan as well. So there'll be many more details to come on that. And so what we heard about Rogel during that process, obviously at that time, the city didn't own it. We still don't own it today, but we hadn't really made enough progress in our conversations with Greater Grace to know with certainty that we would be able to reacquire it. So we talked about the property at a much higher level in that planning process, and some of the things we heard from the community as far as their desire for the site was to prioritize bringing uses back like trails, outdoor recreation, educational opportunities, really focusing on improving the condition of the edges. Obviously, if you're not going into the site, you're still driving by it every day, you kind of look at the fence is broken, it's overgrown, it doesn't look the best along the outside. Knowing that there's some concerns about the safety of Berg Road, the fact that there's not a sidewalk, and we know a lot of kids use that to walk to school, and then focusing on the water quality and habitat along the Rouge River as well. And so after we had progressed in our conversations with Greater Grace, we had a pretty good idea that we would be able to move this project forward. We were able to extend our contract with Design Workshop. They were the consultants that helped us with the planning study as well, to help us really dig into the existing conditions of the site and figure out what could be possible there in the future and try to know what the constraints and the opportunities were that would really help us in the planning effort. So we looked at a number of different factors. I want to touch quickly on the history of the site, because I know some of you have asked these questions of our staff in meetings. So the course opened in 1912, and then it was acquired by the city in 1946. We owned it until 2007 when it was sold to Greater Grace. As part of our planning work, we did have a specific consultant that was helping us with evaluating the historic character of the site. And unfortunately, despite the fact that it had associations with the Phoenix, it was originally designed by Albert Kahn, but because of the current condition of the site, it's kind of lost a lot of that character that even makes it look like a golf course, and so they've recommended that it would not be eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. But of course, in our design, we're hoping to kind of honor that history and rehabilitate the clubhouse. And so it doesn't have that kind of big importance, but we know it's important to the neighborhood, and we'll be looking to preserve some of those characteristics. Since stormwater is such a big focus here, we obviously looked closely at the floodplain, the existence of the wetlands that are on site, the slopes, Detroit obviously for the most part is very flat, but Rogel has a lot of really nice rolling terrain and some ravines. Looked at the condition of the soils, whether or not those could even support new development, what might have to be done there to bring some economic opportunities here, the existing trees, inventorying them and looking at their condition, the infrastructure as far as utilities and road access to the site, and the structure, so evaluating the clubhouse as well as 2 of the bridges that cross over the Rouge River. And the intent of all of that was really to help us frame the question of what uses are possible and best suited to happen at Rogel. Yeah. And so, layering in all of those different factors, we've arrived at a kind of very high-level conceptual master plan, and that is made up of 4 kind of main buckets of uses. And so there's 120 acres total on the site. We think that about 35 acres, primarily along the 7-mile frontage, could be suitable for development, and that's based on the soil conditions, the access there. That's farthest from some of those single-family neighborhoods, so that could be a good place to look at new development in the future. Looking for about 6 acres of active recreation. That would include a greenway that I'll talk about some more, the clubhouse, more of like an events lawn type place. The majority of the site would be passive open space, so that's more or less just leveraging its existing condition. You can get in there today and it's beautiful, just making sure that that's much better maintained, that there's trails and access, but really kind of leaving that character more or less as it is. And then also having green stormwater infrastructure. So there would be a DWSD project, as well as having other features put into the landscape that help handle stormwater. And so we have 2 alternative concept plans that lay out those big buckets of uses. That big kind of L-shaped box along 7 miles where we think there could be potential for future development. Again, that's about 35 acres. That kind of light tan color that runs up along the river, that would be where the greenway is. Some more active uses near the clubhouse, and then a little lawn space across from the clubhouse. And then that bigger kind of grayish green box that takes up the rest of the site, about 83 acres, would be a combination of the stormwater wetlands, the trails, really more passive recreation areas where you would just be able to walk in and really enjoy the scenery and the setting and the trees that are out there. And we do have 1 alternative concept plan that would potentially look at some kind of residential development in that southeast corner, but none of this is set. This is still really trying to say what could be possible, what is the site telling us could make sense here. And so to go through each of those uses quickly, that future development area on 7 miles, about 35 acres, given the market conditions in the area and the fact that we're really trying to build density in Old Redford as part of our bigger planning efforts, we don't think that there's no obviously big rush to develop the site. This is just kind of trying to think long term. Any development that would go there would be publicly offered through the city. There would be some kind of request for proposals or other marketing effort. We're not at this point actively trying to solicit any developers for the site. And our focus here would really be to make sure that any of that development is really compatible with the park space. If we're going to invest money in this really nice open space system inside the park, we don't want to put any old development along 7 Mile. Normally a building would have its street frontage and then kind of a back of house that doesn't really matter how it looks, but that wouldn't be the case here. And so these are just examples of buildings that are really integrated with open space and really kind of respond to it in a thoughtful way. The next piece would be the Rouge River Greenway, and this is what was shown in that active recreation strip in the overview slides. So this is still in the very conceptual stages at the city, but it would be a greenway that would run all the way from 8 Mile down through Rouge Park, so entirely in city limits on the western side of the city. The good thing about this potential idea is that between Rouge Park, Eliza Howell, and the Parkway, and now with the acquisition of Rogel, the city already owns and controls a good amount of this land that would be needed for the greenway, and so this is one of the things we're very excited about bringing through the Rogel site. That kind of big bucket, that 63 acres of passive recreation that would be managed by the General Services Department. This is really kind of the heart of what we heard in the planning process last year about what the community's most important priorities were for the site as far as having trails, outdoor education, recreation opportunities. We know that in the past, this is a really popular site for cross-country skiing, so trying to bring some of those opportunities back in a more formal way. And then the last piece would be the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department's piece. And so what they would do, so knowing that the Rouge River runs through the site today, there's a lot of it is floodplain. It kind of naturally, that picture on the left is from that week we had of rain in February. It doesn't take a lot for Rogel to flood. And so trying to kind of leverage the way that that already happens naturally today. And so what DWSD would do is actually, in some of the neighborhoods that are immediately east and south of Rogel, they would create brand new storm sewers. So all of the runoff from any storm event would actually be taken out of the combined sewer system and piped into Rogel, where we would create some of these nicer landscape green stormwater infrastructure practices that would really feel like part of the park. You wouldn't necessarily walk through them because they'll be kind of swampy, but they would really be a nice natural setting. So taking the fact that it already floods today, using some really nice landscape design to enhance that, and relieving some of the surrounding neighborhoods from some of those flooding issues. And so just to run through some of the benefits to the city, to the residents, repurposes vacant land, returns it to public use. We know this was publicly owned for 60 years or so, and now unfortunately it's fenced off. You can't use it for the past 11 years. So we're very excited to make this a public asset again. The 7-mile frontage could be a really attractive tax-generating development site, potential job opportunity for job creation opportunity. Provides a really key link in the future greenway, trying to get all the way from 8 Mile down to Rouge Park. It allows the DWSD project that will remove about 3.2 million gallons of stormwater from the system. Instead of going into the system, potentially flowing into the Rouge River, it'll go into Rogel instead. And then really just contribute to the stabilization of the area, knowing the condition of the property today, how can we improve that going forward? And so the next steps from here, we'll be back in about a month to kind of present some of the first implementation efforts coming out of the bigger Grand River Northwest planning study, and that'll include a specific focus on Rogel. We've really only gotten to this high level of planning at this point, using what we had heard coming out of the planning study and kind of combining that with the information we were able to get late last year and early this year. And so any of those details about how the open space will work, where there might be connections to the neighborhoods, where the trails might run, what other kind of amenities you would like to see. We haven't even started talking about any of that yet, and so there'll be many opportunities really starting on April 26th, but then over the next year or so to get input about how this site can serve the neighborhood better. We expect to complete the acquisition of the site this summer, at which point the General Services Department will really start focusing on improving the edge conditions, knowing that that's kind of the most visible element of how this feels in the neighborhood. The DWSD project is anticipated to start construction next year, so those improvements will start coming online. And then the more detailed park design, once you get into the nitty-gritty of really drawing out the construction documents that lead to getting it built, would begin in 2019. That's all I have for today. I'm happy to answer questions, but we'll go into much more detail in about a month, but just wanted to, knowing that this was a recent council action and recently been in the news, wanted to give an update about where we are today, and we're very excited about this project.
Okay, everyone. Any questions for Kate? Oh, a lot of questions. All right, we'll start here. We'll start up front. Put her in the middle, please. Let's go in the middle. Yeah, so everybody can see.
Yeah, concerning the Rodale runoff going from the city over to the the river or a dam or something. What type of safeguards do you have in place that's going to protect our citizens from sources from whatever recent past, in other cities, sewage and the runoffs that damage the property and influence the neighborhoods and
So that's exactly the kind of problem that we're trying to solve. So the way Detroit works today, there's a combined sewer system, which means that all of the sanitary sewer and all of the stormwater all get mixed together. And so when there's this big rain event, that all goes to the same pipe and it overflows, into the Rouge River, eventually down into the Detroit River. So there is, that sewer does end up, or the sanitary sewer does end up, polluting waterways. And so the way we can use Rogel is to try and take, millions of gallons essentially of stormwater that would otherwise clog up that system and put it into Rogel instead. And And so DWSD has an obligation and a permit requirement to totally eliminate those kind of overflows in the next few decades. And so doing more projects like this really take a big bite out of what's contributing to those problems.
What type of safeguards will we have against any permanent damage?
Any safeguards against permanent damage?
To which property? Or to...
Well, that sewer system you're talking about, that river, if it gets damaged, like an overflow of sewage or
So
what happened in Sterling Heights where the underground eroded and it cost the city millions of dollars. What type of safeguards will we have in this neighborhood to prevent any of that?
Well, this is kind of serving as that safeguard.
You saying
the fact that the streets are all today, if it rains, many of those streets flood, and that's what kind of causes that damage. But doing a project like this, that water never goes into that system at all. It only goes into Rogel, and then it'll be cleaned. There'll be a lot of measures in place to make sure that by the time that water that goes from the neighborhood into Rogel eventually will flow into the Rouge River, the way that those systems are designed and the way the landscape architects and engineers design it is to make sure that water kind of gets naturally cleaned as it'll flow through a wetland system, and by the time it gets to the Rouge, it's much cleaner than it would have been if it had gone directly into the sewer and then into the river.
So what you saying?
Sir, excuse me. So if we got a lot of folks who have questions. She'll be here. We also have a contact sheet as well for more information. I want to be here.
Okay. I'm excited about the planning that this department is doing, but I also want to know what you're planning on doing about the deer that's running wild in our neighborhood.
We have heard that. That is one thing. So there isn't the site is fenced today. We know that it's obviously missing a lot of pieces. It's not necessarily serving effectively. That's one of the things we would want to discuss moving forward from here. We've heard from some residents who live immediately next to the site that they would like the fence to stay because it does provide that safeguard. So trying to figure out what the right balance is to make sure that there's access. If it becomes a public park, obviously having an 8-foot chain link fence doesn't really create the kind of environment we want, but trying to balance that with knowing that there are concerns with deer in the neighborhood. And I think there have been some conversations initiated with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources already. I think they'll be an important partner as we kind of tackle that bigger challenge.
Got one over here, Kate?
Where will the April 26th meetings be held?
Those details haven't been finalized yet, but we'll make sure that we get that word out through Councilmember Tate's office.
That was your question. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Y'all give it up for Kate. Oh, whoa, now, see.
And I'll also add, we're probably going to have a project website set up soon. I'm sure people in the back maybe weren't able to see all of the slides. So we'll make sure that those are made available electronically also.
Okay, with the planning, as far as having a recreation like for the residents, like a track like they used to have behind Redford High School, where the residents don't have to go outside their community, so they can go to a nice, safe, pretty place where they can, have a track and exercise without, having trash. There's no place here now for the neighborhoods where people want to go and just walk around the track on a nice day.
Sure. So we've got, 70 or so acres or so to play with as far as how that can be built out as a recreational amenity. At this point, it seems like that'll have more of a kind of naturalized character, but there's certainly room to accommodate some of those more active uses, and that's exactly the kind of feedback we'd be looking to get in the next phase of the planning and engagement.
Got one here?
Will DSW partner like with Sierra Club, or Friends of the Rouge, and other organizations to help develop this? And they're already ahead of the game. They know how to do those kinds of things. Will we have those kind of partnerships and synergy going on?
Yeah, exactly. Friends of the Rouge has been involved with us up until this point. I know that they've worked with DWC as well. That's also a really good opportunity for fundraising efforts for the park. We'll need to work on that. So groups like that, Sierra Club, are going to be important partners, especially if we do have those kind of habitat creation and water quality benefits as well. We'll definitely be talking to those groups.
Y'all give it up for Kate Humphrey.
Thank you.
Kate will be back with a number of projects that HRD and the planning department is working on in District 1, and we want to make sure that you all are updated. As a matter of fact, next month, Kate, right? You want to just give them a preview, talk about what we're going to talk about next month? Yeah. The whole.
That will be on. That one. So like Councilor Tate mentioned, some of you may have also known that we had released an RFP in October for the rehab of the vacant Holcomb School in the Old Redford neighborhood. It's on Bentler Street between Carl and Santa Clara. And so we had 2 submissions for that opportunity. They're both for residential uses. We have reviewed them internally. We talked to the community about them. We're kind of answering some of the questions. We expect to have another meeting specifically about that project in the community soon. Potentially leading up to an announcement, maybe by the April 26th meeting. But that's something that I'll talk about in the bigger planning context at that next meeting.
Thank you. Kate Humphries, everyone, once again. All right, up next, this is the portion of the meeting that I love. I always talk about different portions that I love, but I love talking about our young people, and this time it's a younger person, not necessarily a child. There's some things that happened in his childhood that he's been able to overcome, and I want you all to be introduced to Mr. Rashawn Brown. Before we do that, we bring him up. I want to show a brief video. Reggie? So Reggie's going to work on the audio for the video. Let's turn it up. Turn the lights up. Mr. Rashawn Brown. Mr. Brown, you come up, please. Give him a round of applause, y'all. So Mr. Brown is 25 years old. Like I said, he's a younger youth spotlight. But when he was in his teens, he committed a crime. And I don't think he's ashamed to admit what he did, how he's come back from what he did. Reggie's video ready? All right. So he's been featured, as you see, it's being queued up by Detroit 2020 on Channel 7. He's got a support system. We're going to have them come up as well. But I want you to, Ms. Brown, about your past, which many of our children have, our young people have, but even more so, your future and what you and who's there supporting you. We got it? All right. So we do have it? So before Mr. Brown goes, I want you to see the video, and it's important to see that video because I think it cues up him very well. Okay, Ms. Brown. Yeah.
A youngster makes a big mistake that could derail his entire life.
But through hard work, genuine ability, and good fortune, he's charting a new course.
Here's Alicia Smith with tonight's Detroit 2020 Person of the Week.
Rashawn Brown says freedom is being on the court shooting hoops, but he learned that the hard way.
He's a star player, number 34, the center for Wayne County Community College District's basketball team. 25-year-old Rashawn Brown isn't your traditional student athlete.
I've been playing any football, basketball, no sports.
In grade school, he basically only played video games. And when he was 16, he made some bad choices and was arrested for home invasion. He spent time in juvenile detention. Then at 17, he transitioned to prison. Hard time, 6 years, 8 months.
I started playing basketball as cardio.
Other inmates couldn't help but notice his raw talent.
They would come to me, have you ever played anywhere? I know somebody that did this and went home and they just put it in my mind, gave me the vision that So many things can unfold just by basketball alone.
3 days after he got out of prison 2 years ago, he was playing a pickup game at an LA Fitness in Southfield when his skills were noticed by one of the regulars, Terrence Wheeler, a Pac-12 Hall of Famer who played basketball overseas for years.
I said, well, do you want to go to college? I asked him if he has a GED, and he said yes. So I don't even think that he thought about going to college, but I knew that he had some potential.
And when Wheeler learned that Brown was fresh out of prison, that didn't deter him.
The antidote to poverty is opportunity. You know, if the judge didn't give him a life sentence, why should we?
So Wheeler put a call into his friend, WCCCD coach Roderick Turner, who, upon hearing of Brown's ability, offered him a scholarship to play sight unseen.
He's the kind of young man that every coach dreams for.
Really?
Not only a hard worker on the basketball court, but even in the classroom.
Brown became the team captain as a freshman and is currently on the dean's list.
One thing I had learned during my incarceration was about time, and one thing I refused to do was waste it.
Brown's accomplishments have even inspired others. His teammate and friend Jalen Dixon was going through a tough time last year, and Brown reminded him to never give up.
He always bring up the 3 stages of him going into prison and the things that he did that he shouldn't have done, how strong he was to encounter and do all that, and then come back home and make such a significant change. The beautiful thing about a lot of people is that once you exceed somebody's expectations, especially your own, then that's when everything becomes wonderful.
And that's why Rashawn Brown is this week's Detroit 2020 Person of the Week.
Rashawn Brown gets off of parole in April, and he's on track to graduate from WCCCD this summer. And his coach says he's likely to get offers from several four-year schools. We wish him all the best. I'm Alicia Smith. 7 Action.
Now you see why I wanted you to see a video first. There you go. This is Rashawn Brown. Come on up. Yeah. This is March Madness time. If anybody keeps up with college basketball, and there's a story behind each and every one of these individuals on the court. And some of them, they play ball very well. This gentleman plays ball very well, but also Dean's List in addition to that. So that's just as important. So we're going to give you an opportunity to speak and say a couple words to folks here. And then I know you have, again, your support system, your family, all your folks who want them to come up forward to coach, mentor, but give you a chance to do your thing first, and then we'll bring them up and say a couple words. So come on up to the
Test, can you hear me? All right, how everybody doing? All right, well, a little bit about myself, other than what you've seen in the video. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I want to say, like, prior to me, even, I made it to, like, the 11th grade, and going into 12th grade, that's when, unfortunately, I had made poor decisions that landed me to be in prison. But during the time prior to me being incarcerated, I felt like my life, what I had vision for myself beyond 12th grade was kind of like, it was blank, and I didn't really have no guidance, no sense of direction for myself. I didn't know my own capabilities. But one thing I was good at was, I guess, being influenced to try to do things to try to appease other people, per se, my family. One thing we were good at was, I guess you could say, either, I don't know if it's a youthful thing or whatever, but we was just good at being bad. I won't necessarily say I was a bad person, I just made a bad decision. But, however, I used that to capitalize on my life. I realized when I had got locked up, I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to search for myself, and I had to find myself. I found that through God. I found that through reading, applying things that I've learned, the principles that I learned. I learned the value and integrity of hard work, and I didn't know that. I didn't understand it prior to me getting locked up. So it's not necessarily that it was me getting locked up that changed my life. It was just my mind state that I wanted to do. I personally believe that everybody in life is born with innate abilities. But as a youth, you don't necessarily know what you're capable of doing. Despite somebody tell you what you can and can't do, you don't really know what you're capable of doing until you actually do something like, wow, I did that. You know, I put my mind to that and I did that. Not only that, once you have a resolve to work hard, to be exceptional, people will come into your life that want to help you to progress. You know, I have my mentor here that only see me playing basketball up at LA Fitness. So it's like, yeah, we got to do something. My head coach was like, you know, we're going to get him in here. The things that he taught me up at Wayne Community College is more so, it's not just basketball. Basketball is the foundation, it's the base of what it is that we want to teach you. We want to teach you to be a man first. We want to teach you to have character, integrity. We want to teach you the value and the principle of hard work. Not only that, the value of the little things. It's not the big things that makes the biggest impact or the biggest difference. It's the small things. So if we're going to relate to basketball, my coach told me what's going to make me very successful is little things people refuse to do. So I can apply that to myself and within my life. So there's a lot of things that I worked on, that I worked hard on doing. And with my life, I came across a lot of people that want to help me to progress and to proceed and move forward. So I had to use the strength of my mind and my heart, the guidance of God to get me to where I'm here at now. The funny thing about it is I came home April 15, 2016. These are actually the same pants that I had walked out with, you know, so it's funny because it's led me here, you know. I don't have like a lot of material things. Those are not the things I was aiming for. You know, me being home, my focus wasn't money, my focus wasn't to do anything that would end up jeopardizing my life and put me back to being incarcerated. You know, I refuse to go back. I feel like if they wanted any type of chance, they had me in there, they had their chance, you know. That's right. But I felt like I had I guess it's a lot of things I had learned over time throughout my incarceration that I just want to use myself as a beacon of light to those who feel like they astray, you know, feel a lot of things in life, it may come in a disguise of misfortune, but at the root of it is success. And that's what I want to try to lead by with my example, with my actions, with my life, with my words. And not only that, guys like my mentor, my head coach, my brother, my family, the people I've just met coming home, and they very much family to me. So a lot of thanks and gratitude go to them. You know, I want to be able to be in a position to be able to make the best of myself. And because my coach could have been like, man, you did what? You was where? No, he could have closed the door, which I'm sure a lot of people have done. You know, but he seen the resolve in my heart, the hard work, and he knew that he could fine tune a lot of things. And one thing before I leave, I never played organized ball, and my coach seen that, so he like, we're not gonna play you this year. We're gonna redshirt you. If anybody know what that means, you're not gonna be able to play this year. You're gonna play the next one. But what you can do, travel with the team and see how organized teams operate. But I continue to persevere. I worked hard. I made sure I went to classes, got my did everything that I needed to do necessary to be eligible. I think I had earned my spot when I played against the alumni. He seen how bad I wanted to be on. He seen how bad I wanted to work. And he told me that from that point on, I had earned my position. And I don't take nothing for granted at this point out with myself, with my life, or my family. So I'm just using this as, I appreciate y'all just having me here, give me the opportunity to speak and the opportunity to do as I can.
Shine Brown, y'all. Come on up, team. Y'all gotta come on up. Now's your time to come on up. I think you even got a former teacher over there as well. Yeah. You might as well come on up too. It's all right. You want to say a couple words about this young man?
First by saying, look at God. I mean, I'm an old man, and I play at LA Fitness probably 3 days a week. I got scheduled days that I go up there. And this particular day when I met Brown, I wasn't even scheduled to play. But I went in the gym anyway because I like to talk to the young people, because you can't serve them if you don't know them. And so I'm in the gym and I'm sitting there, I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to play. My body hurt, my knees hurt, calves hurt. I'm like, you know, I put a little Bengay on. I'm like, you know what, Papa, leave, I'm ready to go. So I'm seeing this young guy run up and down the court. But I know all the young people in the gym, because I've been playing it for a number of years. I know all the young people. And I'm like, well, who is this young guy? I never seen this guy before. And so I watched him a little bit more. And after the game, I went up to him, like, young fellow, what high school you went to? And he said, well, sir, I just came home from prison. And so me being a child of poverty, a focused old kid, I don't run from you, I got to run to you. And so I said to him, you got your GED? He was like, yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch him a little bit longer. You know, because I, as a child of poverty, you know, a lot of people go in and out, and they say a lot of things when they first come home. And your word is your currency. So before I start making any phone calls, I got to get to know this young brother. And so I watched him a little bit longer, and I said, man, this kid wants something. I see something special in this kid. And so I called Coach Turner. And I said, Coach, man, it was my first call. I had a list of guys I was going to call. He was the first call. I said, Coach, man, I got a young kid, had a situation. I said, man, but he's going to be your hardest worker. I guarantee. Now, he's not Michael Jordan, but more like Dennis Rodman. Okay? But I got to be clear because I'm a baller. I got to be honest because my word is on the line here. And I said, man, but I guarantee you, his effort going to match his desire. He's going to be your hardest worker player on your team. And I said, he's also going to be able to touch the other teammates to understand that time is our biggest asset, but what we waste the most. And so at the end of the day, when you look at young people, we oftentimes judge them without knowing their situation, without knowing their circumstances. Their success is predicated on our participation each and every day. I am so honored and thankful that God chose me that day to have some resources to help him. Because I remember when he called me and he said, man, Coach want to redshirt me. And he was kind of upset. I said, Brown, slow down, youngin. I said, listen, that's not a bad thing. I said, you be the hardest working player there. Your effort is going to get you where you need to be at. And once you become successful, you graduate, I want you to be significant in your community. I said, man, you don't owe me nothing. Make your mama proud and help somebody else. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Coach Turner from Wayne Community College District. I want to thank Representative Tate and Aaron for giving us this opportunity. I'll be brief. Rashawn Brown is a great young man, and we have plenty of great young men at our school. This young man as well, Jalen Dixon, they're best of friends, and it's what we try to grow there at Wayne Community College District. We have serviced over 300 young student athletes and got them scholarships from year 2000 to now. We've gotten over 300 scholarships for these student athletes. I just want to let you know that we do have athletic programs at our college. A lot of people don't think that. And we have scholarships. So if you know of anyone, we're looking to help. Because like Terrence said, everybody's not a Michael Jordan. But we could have a Dennis Rodman without the personality of Dennis Rodman. And we just want to thank you guys, and go Wildcats.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jalen Dixon, and it's kind of crazy how me and him met. I was on the team to start off before I even knew him, and then because of personal issues and a couple of other things that I was going through, I was off the team for about a month and a half, and then when I got back, I automatically didn't like him. Automatically didn't like him. Everybody on the team would just come up to me like, yeah, so we got this new guy, he real big, he just did almost 7 years and stuff. I'm like, man, I don't care. I just kept hearing about him, and it made me not like him more until we went against each other one day in this drill. And my main guy just was like, I'm about to go at him. And I did a move that I wasn't supposed to do and kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit. And my coach, he got mad at me. He's like, you're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. And when he yelled at me, he came up to me like, hey, that was a good move, man. Do it again. And I'm like, all right, for sure. And he's just a good man at the end of the day. I don't want to I could say so much about him, but I'm not. He's just a good man with a good heart. And that's just him. Thank you for your time.
Anybody have any questions? Any questions, any words, anyone? I think he said it all. Okay. You got Albert? All right, we got one here. Got one from Ralph.
Yeah. You can help other people too when you get up there. But remember, in that sport, you will get hurt. What is your backup plan when you get hurt in that sport?
If.
Yeah.
Which we hope don't happen.
Yeah. My backup plan, I wanted to say it's like just basically live my life, because everything in life I feel like is uncertain. Anything can happen at any instant. So whatever, if it's good or it's bad, you got to take it in the moment that it happened. You assess it, see how you can be able to react to it. But my main security is my education. So whether somebody take my legs from me, I will always have my education.
We got one? I'm making me work today. I know, exercise. Work off them muffins.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rashawn, I congratulate you on your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Fantastic work. Keep up the good work. Now, my question to you is, do you do speaking to other young folks, to youth groups, so that they can know that they have a chance also?
I have recently, but it was only at my campus. But I didn't do it that time. Yeah, I'll be doing a speaking engagement at the Western campus today, and I also did one Wednesday up at the Northwestern campus. But anything that's where I can potentially speak to anybody, I'll be open for it.
Thank you. So you'll give us information on how to contact you?
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tate, is that aura? That is, that aura? There is none other. That's the pillar, okay. Anybody else back here? While I'm back here. All right. Rashawn Brown, y'all.
It's not really a question, it's a comment. I'd like to say that at Wayne Community College, he was a very good student of mine in mathematics.
I just want to say that I am so godly proud of Rashawn. I am not his mom biologically. I am Jalen's mother. But he has been such a blessing to my family. I love him like my own. I thank God for the mentor. I thank God for Coach Turner. Just the whole YWCC organization has just been a blessing. And I want you to know, young man, you are going places. Hallelujah! You are going places in this world. You have changed your life around, and you are a beacon light. Regardless what you go through, what you have, and what you don't have, you have God, and you have me, and you have all these people rooting for you. You are a blessed young black man. Hallelujah! And you are going to go places. I thank God for the friendship that you have with Jalen. I thank God for the brotherly bond that you all have. And I thank God for both of you great men who have mentored both of these young men and have a heart for our black men, because truly our black men have been led astray by society. And I'm so grateful that you all have picked your lives up. And Rashawn, you've turned it around for the better. God bless you in all your endeavors, Jalen. I love you, Rashawn. I love you. And God bless. Thank you.
Yeah, just to the young men, have you considered what college or university that you're interested in, and what are your academic pursuits? What field that is?
As far as like which school I plan on transfer, whoever write the biggest check.
That's right.
I'm joking. No, I feel like the best opportunity gonna be presented to me. I haven't made a firm decision as of yet, so it's just still open. The Saginaw Valley is in the open. Talking in Morehouse. And Reinhardt University in Atlanta, Georgia.
I'll give it up one more time, Rashawn Brown. Don't leave, though. Don't leave. You know, I tell you, the news, they often tell you all the bad stuff, right? You see a whole bunch of black men on television parading in front of the cameras for something wrong, something they did wrong. But they never tell you to follow up. So I actually got to give Channel 7 a shout out for giving a follow up. on what happened to this young man. I'll tell you, we wouldn't have known about you if it weren't for that story. And many of us now have a bigger bond. So your family has grown, brother. Your family has grown. And so there's no way that we can allow you to leave here without at least something from our office. And we want to provide you from the city of Detroit an award of recognition.
Let's give him another round of applause.
So now we're going to deviate a little bit from the agenda. We're going to give the legislative update. It's going to be real brief. But there, this year we had the new budget. We just wrapped up the budget process from the city of Detroit, and it has implications for the years beyond now. So Edwina King, DeAndre Watson, please come forward and provide us with today's legislative update. The one with the tattoos.
Good morning or good afternoon, District 1. Good morning? Okay, good morning, District 1. So my name is Edwina King. I am one of 2 policy analysts for Councilmember James E. Tate, who represents Detroit City Council District 1. So we're going to give a brief...
Good morning, my name is DeAndre Watson. I work with Edwina King as the other policy analyst in Councilman Tate's office.
And so we're just going to give a brief, very brief update regarding the budget process that we went through we just concluded about 2 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. So basically, the mayor in late February presented a roughly $2 billion budget to City Council. City Council deliberated extensively. And one of the important things about this particular budget, of course, there was discussions, debates, different things like that. A couple of things that came out of this budget was 141 police officers. In addition to that, so those officers will be divided between Ceasefire as well as the Real-Time Crime Center. In addition to that, additional officers for animal control. Of course, we all know the city has a huge issue when it comes to stray animals. So those officers will assist animal control to address those issues in real time. In addition to that, there were other, personnel increases and different things of that nature. One of the important things about this particular budget, it is no secret that the city has experienced a very, negative bankruptcy, and because of that, we were under the review of the Financial Review Commission. So because of that, for the past 3 years, every budget that the city approved had to additionally be approved by this commission. This budget is in particular important because it represents the 3rd year where the city has had a balanced budget. Right. That's an applause, right? That's a great applause by itself. And on Monday, the Financial Review Commission will meet. We will, of course, submit proof as a city that our books are balanced as well. And because of that, the Financial Review Commission will go into what's called dormancy. So no, they do not go away, and they will review our books periodically, but they don't have the oversight that they used to have, and we have more autonomy when it comes to our budget. So DeAndre is going to go into very particular things that council advocated for and made sure was included in the budget.
Thanks. All right, so before we turn the meeting back over to Councilman Ted, I want to walk through, give you some context behind the total budget and then walk through some of the changes that were made to the budget by City Council during the deliberations process. So the mayor, as Edwina said, presented a budget on February 23rd. about a $1.98 billion budget, including all funds, both the general fund and our enterprise funds. In that budget, there are funds available for an additional 141 positions in the police department. There's also money for 6 additional animal control officers, and the goal for that is to expand the services for animal care and control so that it operates from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. each day, which we know right now they're off after business hours, so this at least gives them some additional time before school and after school to deal with some animal control issues. City Council made some specific changes to the budget as part of their deliberations process. I won't go through all of the changes that City Council made, but I'll highlight a few. One was to add some additional staff to the office of the ombudsperson, so that when you call and you have issues with the way that city government is working, there are some additional resources there to assist you in getting those issues resolved. There was also money added to hire some additional full-time employees for the Auditor General's office to make sure that the departments are operating in a lean and efficient and transparent manner, and so that we have the proper legislative oversight over those agencies. There was also money added for historic preservation assistance. We heard a lot from people here in District 1 and really across the city generally that there needs to be some more resource and some more support and guidance for people who live in historic districts and also people who are interested in establishing historic districts. So there was $50,000 specifically appropriated for the creation of a historic preservation guide to assist homeowners who live in historic districts and other residents to understand the do's and don'ts about property maintenance and property restoration in those historic areas. And there was also money added for some additional staff for the Historic Designation Advisory Board, which is the legislative entity that works with you and with City Council to find historic assets in the city and then make sure that those are properly designated so they're protected in the future. The last thing, which is the perfect segue into our next presentation, which is one major change that was added to the budget, was additional money for the Senior Emergency Home Repair Grant Program. So the budget as presented by the mayor contemplated a total of $1.5 million in Senior Emergency Home Repair Grant funds, and those were divided in 3 different pots. Council President Pro Tem Sheffield worked with her colleagues and Councilman Tate to make sure that we had some additional funds in place for that, and City Council was able to add an additional $2 million to that pot to bring the entire program funding up to $3.5 million. And as a point of context, $3.5 million generally should be enough to service approximately 233 households across the city. So that is really the general overview for the budget. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, and if not, then we can definitely turn it back over and have some more details about the home repair loan program and some information about the home repair grant program.
And just one quick thing. Of course, we're certainly more than happy to accommodate everyone. With that being said, unfortunately, when some of you arrived, we were out of information as far as agendas and packets and what have you. So if you make sure, please, before you leave, if you did not receive anything, make sure that we have your contact information and that you signed in, and we're going to make sure that you can email it out. So not only you have a copy, but your neighbors and friends and other concerned citizens has one as well.
When will the home repair and grant come up now?
They're coming up now. I knew that's what you wanted.
Right. Yeah, because I need a home repair done now.
There's a lot of it. It's coming up next. Any other questions for Edwina and DeAndre? Thank you, Edwina and DeAndre. We still need some, we got folks still coming. This is amazing. I feel like the pastor at church. They're still coming, y'all. They're still coming. Anyone who has an open seat, again, please raise your hand. All right, so folks in the back, if you need a seat, please come forward. This is a good problem to have. This is community coming together, so this is awesome. So again, we're going to now talk about the moment that I know many of you have been waiting for. Now, today's not the day that you're going to really sign up. I don't think you can sign up today, can you? Okay, today's not the day to sign up. It's about information. And letting you know how to be prepared, because many times we don't participate in programs because we don't know about them, and sometimes we don't know about them in a timely manner. So we want to make sure that District 1 for sure is educated on the home repair loans and grants that are available by the City of Detroit. So I want to bring forward Ms. Nicole Rodden-Bowen.
Rodden-Bowen.
I'm sorry.
Rodden-Bowen, that's fine.
Rodden-Bowen. See, I told you, I got the face thing, I messed it up. That's all I had to do. My team did it well. Ms. Dana Christian from the New Hope CDC, as well as Tanae Lely. Oh, there she is. All right, Lely. From Center for Working Families Coordinator for Southwest Economic Solutions. Y'all give it up. Come on up here. So I don't know how you guys want to do it first. You want to talk about all of it together, and then we're going to break it out? So we're going to talk about the senior home repair loan, grants, and then we're going to talk about the 0% interest, because everyone doesn't qualify for 0% interest loan. That's why it was important for City Council to ensure that there were some additional dollars that are available for the grants. Now, I will tell you this, the need is still much larger than the actual dollar amount in the grant. You heard, what was that number, DeAndre? How many homes?
233.
230 what?
3.
233. Now, that's citywide. That's how much money?
$3.5 million.
$3.5 million. So that's telling you, that's giving you an example of how large this issue is. So you all are, I know, Mr. Glenn, you said, I want it now. But there's a lot of people who are already in line that have not gotten them for years. So we just want to let you know what we're dealing with before we move forward. So, Nicole.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I am so happy that I did not have to follow up immediately after Mr. Rochon here, because I had nothing inspirational to give. Young man, you are awesome, and your testimony is going to bless so many people, for sure. So, brought my water up because I get nervous when I talk to big crowds. My name is Nicole. I'm the Director of Single Family Housing under the Housing and Revitalization Department. And the 3 programs that I am over are the 3 home repair programs that HRD funds. And the first one is our 0% home loan program, which I know most of you know, and we have somebody here that's going to give you details on that. That program, you only pay back what you borrow, and you have 10 years to pay that loan back. So it gives folks an opportunity to get the home repairs done on their property, and it also gives the city the opportunity to leverage additional dollars to help more people. The second program that we have is our lead reduction program, okay? We're actually finishing up our existing program. We're not taking applications right now. We were able to serve 240 households with this existing grant. For the lead reduction grant, the purpose is to get rid of lead hazards inside of housing, especially those who have children under the age of 6 or pregnant women, whether they live there or they visit there. So we've actually been able to serve a lot of seniors in our communities who are babysitting, right? We have a lot of grandmothers who take kids during the week, and so a lot of those folks were also able to capitalize with that program. The next steps for that program, we expect, it's a competitive grant program with HUD, so we don't get the funding guaranteed every year like we do our CDBG funding. But we expect HUD to release a notice of funding availability in April or May of this year, and we hope to have funds available by fall. So we'll have something to let all of our council members and district managers know for you guys to pass the information on to you that grant funding is available. Again, it's competitive. We compete with other big cities in the country. But we are hoping to get additional funds for that and to serve another 200 households in that program, okay? So definitely, I'll give you the number for our office after this, but you can definitely check back in the fall if you haven't heard anything, and get with us and ask us about the lead program if that's something that you're interested in, and that is a grant program as well. Our last program is the most popular program. That's our Senior Emergency Repair Program. And that program is available to our residents who are 62 years or older, 55 if you have a disability. And we go in and we repair emergency items, including our furnaces, roofs, hot water heaters, those types of things in the homes that are going to impact your daily living, right? The things, you need hot water, you need heat in the winter, those types of things. That program, as mentioned, the City Council and the Mayor did approve additional funding for that program. there is a waiting list. And so we are currently, we have about 1,000 people on an inquiry list right now at this moment ready to be served by this program. So we mentioned 233 households to be served. We have 1,000 people who are set up waiting for applications to be available. If you want to be a part of that inquiry list, and I'm going to repeat this twice, okay? You're going to call the office, and you can call on behalf of your parents or other folks as well. Just make sure you give them that person's name and address and phone number, okay? You're going to call our office, 313-224-6380. 313-224-6380. And you're going to be asked to be placed on that inquiry list. Now, being placed on the inquiry list does not mean that you'll definitely get the grant. What happens when funds become available, we usually take about the first 300 people who are on that list. We contact them. There's a percentage of those folks who will not follow up, who will not be eligible, and then we serve as many as we can from that list on a first come, first served basis. Once we have served those folks, or if anybody's not responsive, they'll be moved to the bottom of the list. We move on to the next 300 people, okay? So that's how the program is currently working. Definitely, if you've already called and you're on the inquiry list, or you want to know if you've been placed on there, again, you can call 224-6380. In the meantime, we are definitely encouraging folks to check out the 0% home loan program. Again, we know a lot of people don't want to hear the word loan, but you're really only paying back what you borrowed. So if you take out a $5,000 loan for a new furnace, and you have 10 years to pay back dollar for dollar that $5,000. So any of you have a credit card in here, you know how your interest is, right? You got a $5,000 credit limit and you pay back $8,000. You don't do that with our program. You pay back $5,000, okay? And you have 10 years to do it. So I definitely encourage you all to check it out. Again, if you are denied from that program, then you're automatically moved to our inquiry list for the emergency repair program anyways, okay? I guess at this time I can take questions and then I'll pass it on to the folks from our 0% program. I'm sorry. Oh. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. I did bring some resources for you all from our nonprofit program partners. And so there are some home repair programs from the state that are available. They're very small, and you have to go online to fill them out. I brought some materials on the back table. Clearly not enough for you all, so you guys will get an email blast, I believe, from the District 1 staff on how to do that. Also, we have a partner, we partner with ClearCore. They do a lead safe homes, a lead abatement as well. It's pretty much similar to what our lead program is, and they are accepting applications. They have a waiting list, but again, they're still accepting, so please submit your applications. The other thing we have is ClearCore also is giving away new fridges. If you have a refrigerator that is that you got in 2000 or before, you're automatically eligible. You want to pick up that information in the back and contact them. They're having trouble getting rid of new fridges. They're having trouble. So please contact them. No, they're having trouble. So if you call them 313-924-4000 and tell them Miss Nicole told you about the fridges and you're interested in a new fridge, okay? And she'll tell you what you need to get that in that program. Now I'm all finished.
Hello, my name is Tanae Lilly. I am the Center for Working Families Coordinator for Southwest Economic Solutions. We are located in Southwest Detroit, but I am actually stationed right here in the Brightmoor community, right at Schoolcraft and Evergreen. We have an office there where we work with the 0% home repair loan program, and we do intake there. So, yes, so the requirements for the 0% home repair loan, she kind of gave you information on it. Basically, you have to be a resident of the city of Detroit. You have to have been in your home for at least 6 months. with your name on the deed for at least 6 months. Credit score 560. Current on your property taxes. And I do the application process, like I said, right there on Evergreen and Schoolcraft. I can give you my contact information, and I will also leave it here. My phone number at the office is 313-297-0068. You can leave a message on my voicemail, and I will definitely return your call regarding it, and I'll be here as well if you have any questions for me. And I also have applications with me. If you're interested in getting an application, you can let me. Okay, I'll see you after. I'll wait till after, and I'll have applications. I'm sitting right up front table. Any questions?
We're going to take questions from both now.
Tenai, T-E-N-A-I.
Okay, so my name is Dana Christian. Hopefully, I'm bringing some really good news since everybody stuck around and waited. So I'm here to talk about a national grant for home repair. So much of what you've heard was the City of Detroit's programs to help you with your homes. We hear a lot about things that are happening with the city. We want to hear some things that we can do to help our houses look better and help the entire neighborhoods look better. So the name of the program, before I even say that, let me say there's a flyer here. The city can also email the information, but I'm going to give out our phone number so that you can call and get the detailed information. We'll be having informational sessions twice a week, starting next week, all through the month of April. So let me give you the number, 313-255-6275. My name is Dana Christian. Our office is New Hope Community Development, Nonprofit Housing Corporation. We're on Evergreen between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. Information in the back, my business cards are in the back. So let me tell you about the program. It's called the Neighborhood Improvement Program. We call it NIP, or the Accessibility Modification Program, AMP. And this is a federal program through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis. It's a national program. These funds can complement the City of Detroit funds. If you apply for these funds, you can also apply for the 0% loan or the senior home repair funds. So we'll tell you more about it, but let me just tell you the amounts. Up to $7,500, I see people writing that down, or up to $15,000 for qualified repairs. Let's talk about what are qualified repairs. No, we're not going to buy you a hot tub. We're not going to buy you a hot tub. But it's for dwelling repairs, systems, roofs. No garages, that's not your dwelling. You don't live in the garage. Anything to your dwelling. Not the porch, even though that's attached. We'd like to see that. But windows, furnaces, plumbing, any of those type of repairs. The same repairs that I think the senior emergency repair program would allow you to use the funds for. You have to be income qualified, of course. And if some of you picked up the flyer, you're looking at 2017 information. And here's why this is important. The applications don't go out until April. We've been selected to be one of the sites. There's only one other one. You snap back on the east side. They only announce the application and information in April because you're competing with the whole country. There's only so much money to go around, and money will run out. So they won't give you the new information for 2018 until they give it to the entire country. But we want you guys to be ready. We want our District 1 people to be ready. So I'm giving you 2017 information. You have to come to our informational sessions to get the 2018 information. Generally, it doesn't change much. You'll have different income restrictions based upon HUD's information that they put out every year. But please call our office, sign up, come talk about it more. We'll take a few questions, I think all three of us. But it's important to know that this can complement some of the City of Detroit programs, because this is a national program. We're going to take questions. Is that what we're doing? Okay. You have to call the office to get the dates for the session. They'll be twice a week through April.
That was your question?
We also do the zero interest loan program too. So if you guys come in, we'll submit application for both. He's coming around with the microphone.
We have one right here.
Good morning. I'm trying to understand what factors were used in defining the boundaries for the 0% home loan.
Sure. So the 0% program is citywide for folks who are 80% area median income or below. If you are above 80% AMI, you can still be served, but only if you live in a neighborhood revitalization strategy area. I didn't do it. The reason why, so the NRSA is an application that is submitted to HUD and approved by HUD, and there's different census data and things in target areas that are used to determine whether or not that area can be served. There's still some factors that we as HRD watch for those areas, so we still have more than 50% of the people served in those areas still have to be low income. But in those areas, there's different national objectives that we're able to meet to help serve the whole area so that we can bring that target area together. So I don't have the NRSA with me to explain exactly for what your specific area or why it was chosen or not chosen. But that's why we're able to serve some other folks outside of 80% AMI is because of that NRSA.
Got one back here.
Yes, I would like to know what areas, she just said what areas, but what I wanted to know, did you say you do kitchens and different things inside the house and out?
Yes, are you talking about for the 0% program?
Yes.
Yes, so the 0% program, they're going to send an inspector into the home to take a look at all of the emergency code-related items. And then those are the items that you'll be able to work with the program manager and the construction manager on as far as what work is done on your home. So it won't be luxury. Again, we're not doing hot tubs. It's federal funds. But, you know, if you are having a leaky pipe or you can see the sun shining through your roof or you don't have any heat, those types of things, we're going to want to try to help you get those things repaired.
Got one this way.
Hello, good morning. My question is, what are the criteria for the 0% home loan mortgage? Do you have to be denied first from another loan officer to be?
Not at all. Not at all. No, you just need to be a City of Detroit resident, and you can apply. You have to be 80%, like I said, depending on where you live, you either need to be 80% AMI or below, or if you're in that NRSA area, the income eligibility is different. And then there are some other criteria. You need to own your home for at least 6 months. You need to have your taxes up to date. Oh, your credit, 560. Those are the main criteria.
Oh, okay. For the federal loans and the city loans, the local loans, for the grants and the loans where we have to pay back, both of them, they do not do anything to help you repair your front porch.
So it depends on if it's a code item. So if it is, if our Department of Building and Safety comes out and there's a hazard on your porch,
yeah, there it is. It's a crack.
Then it would be an eligible expense. So it's on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I'm not out in front of your house right now, so I couldn't tell you yes for sure. But the construction manager would go out and they would write up a scope based on those emergency needs. And if your porch was in disrepair where it could cause an issue for you, then yeah, it probably would be included in your repairs.
The federal grant does not do porches or sidewalks, just dwelling only, but the other programs do.
You are popular.
I would like to know why two-family flats are excluded from these programs. Two flats. I live downstairs.
Two-family flats are allowed in the NIP and the AMP programs as long as it's a qualified repair. And there's other qualifications to determine if you're the owner of that home, if you've occupied it.
Okay. For our lead program, it is an eligible unit. For the lead program, you can't apply with a two-family flat.
Have one here as well.
All right, my question was basically the same as hers about the two-family flats. I have two. One's my home, and the other one is a kind of a rental. Now, would a rental be, if you own the property, would it be excluded?
The only program that HRD currently has that serves rentals is the LED program. So you could live in that, but one of those units would have to have a child under the age of 6 or a pregnant woman.
For the federal program, do you have to have a credit score minimum?
No, ma'am.
Hi, I was just trying to get the number again to reach you because I didn't get a flyer for you.
Okay, New Hope's number is 313-255-6275. I do have a sign-in sheet in the back. If you sign in, we will contact you to register you to come to one of our informational sessions. And then you would meet with our staff to look at your individual situations. On the back of the flyer that I have in the back, there's a questionnaire from 2017, of course, 2018 isn't out, where you can determine if you're eligible before you even decide if you want to come and give us all your information. You know, we have to get your life.
Got one here.
313-255-6275. 313-255-6275. Business cards are in the back.
And what we'll do is we'll make sure that before you all leave, we're going to do a round of information before we wrap up all the questions.
Yes, could you explain that AMI, please? The area of median income?
Sure. So every year HUD releases information to us that tells us, for depending on your household size, how much that household at a maximum can make to qualify for federal programs. So I don't have those numbers, so this is just something I'm just giving as an example. But for instance, a household of 4 people cannot make more than $50,000 a year in order to be served by the program. So those numbers change annually, and as you apply for the program, we double check your income at that time, and we'll be able to tell. We usually don't have a problem with people applying who are over that income, but if you do, then again, there's the NRSA option for 0%. If not, then our programs will not be open to you.
Got one here.
Okay, I'm concerned about program. An issue that is in the. Don't put it too close to me. Okay, that is in offense stage, and the city council has the right to take it out of offense stage. As to your neighbor's trees destroying the property, I was told that by the planning commission that if a neighbor's trees are destroying my property, my roofs, and they don't take care of it, the neighbor don't take care of the problem of removing the trees that's right next to my roof, my home, that the city and offense stage have where the parks have come and addressed it with her. If she don't cut them down, they cut them down. I don't know what's happening with that.
So you're saying if someone has a tree that's encroaching on your property, does the city come out and remove the tree, or do you have the? I'm trying to understand this.
Okay, the city planning commissioner told me this. He was.
So here's what I will do, because I want to make sure that we stay on this topic. I'm available. I'm available after. So, are you looking for your roof to be repaired? Okay, so these ladies will be here available at the meeting. I'll give you information. I promise.
Do you have any grants, something that you don't have to pay back for someone that might be buying homes, fixing them up?
So the federal program I mentioned through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis.
Excuse me, one second. Hold on 1 second. Okay. We still have a meeting going on, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a meeting going on. All right.
Sorry, we'll try to be a little louder. So the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis is providing grant dollars up to $7,500 for families or $15,000 for accessibility issues in homes. That is a grant. You do not have to pay it back. The zero interest loan program, we do that in our office as well, Southwest does. That's a City of Detroit program. It is a loan with zero interest. So you just pay back the amount that you've gotten for the repair. The senior home repair is a grant, and the lead is a grant as well. Another question in the back.
Okay, I have a situation I'm the only one on my street, but I have 2 empty houses. I can't get insurance on my home, but I've been on the list for demolition for these 2 homes for 5 years, and they have not done anything. And I need work done in my house too. So, but what I'm asking is why I can't get demolition on both sides of my house so I can be able to get insurance for my home. That's all I need is insurance on my home.
Department of Neighborhoods will address the issue with the homes that need to come down. And if you guys talk about the insurance portion of it and how that affects her property.
Sure. So for the 0% program, you do have to have homeowners insurance. For our grants, we do look on a case-by-case basis. We really require you to be denied first, proof of denial. And on a case-by-case basis, we may waive that requirement, but it doesn't happen very often. In your case, if you were to apply, we would go through the steps of trying to help you get that insurance first. But it just depends on each household and what the issue is with the household.
Got one here?
Hi, my name is Claus Foster, and my question is, on that 0% loan, you say you have 10 years to pay it back. If you're a senior citizen, God forbid, what will happen to that bill if you pass away? Will it go to your family, or what will happen?
No, I don't think so. I believe it's forgiven. Yeah, in the event of a death, it would be forgiven.
Making my way up. Got time for 3 more questions. Number 1.
Yes, I have a question. What happened at one point in time? There was a loan that was out there that you could get help to fix your home up, but as long as you lived there for so long, then it was forgiven. Is that still around, or?
So that's how our grant programs work. They're forgivable loans. Depending on the program, there is a lien placed on the home. The homeowner is not required to make any payments. And depending on the program, over the amount of 3 years or 5 years, then that grant is forgiven. It becomes a grant. In the event that you sell your home between the time is when the city would collect the grant funds.
Also, I know that a lot of homes in like my particular neighborhood, the homeowner's insurance, they won't cover the houses if there's roof issues. So how are you supposed to get the house insurance if you can't get the new roof? That kind of situation. You're going back and forth with the homeowners.
So for instances like that, when you come see us, we just ask you to get a quote from an insurance company on the property, and at the intake center, we turn it over to the city, and they make that decision from there, along with the insurance company.
Number 2.
Okay, I've been on the waiting list since the first of the year. It's the Senior Emergency Program for Loans and/or Grants. You did tell me to call back in April. My insurance company settled the claim for the interior damage. They won't cover the roof. Can you speed up the process for the roof repair? I have a leak, and I need to have it done by no later than the end of April. Thank you.
I definitely understand your concern, and I get numerous calls a day with folks who are in the same situation. And as fast as we'd like to be able to serve everybody, we don't have the resources to do that. I know that $3.5 million sounds like a lot, but if you remember, if it only serves 233 people, and you have 1,000 people on a waiting list, and you got 700,000 people in the city, it's going to take a long time to be able to serve the need in the city. So I would just call and see where you are on the waiting list. Yeah.
Got one here?
Yes. I've been in my home 44 years. And all I'm interested in is getting a grant here. I've been here 44 years and have never been able to get a grant. And so I'm just interested in the senior grant program. I don't want a loan, period. Now, what number do we call for the senior program?
It's 313-224-6380.
So before you all wrap up, I apologize. Okay. This is our last one because we have to wrap up.
Thank you very much. Okay. I own a house right over here on Rosemont at Rosedale Park. And I think within the last, 3 to 5 years, they've made it a historic area now. And I understand that there's certain things that you can and cannot do now as a result of that. Do you guys work with the people who live in the historic area over here on Rosemont and Rosedale Park now and giving help that they need? I can't live in my house right now because there's so much work that needs to be done. I've made it to 74, almost 75 years old now, and I've been a school mom in this city, and I'm a widow, and I need some help, and I want to know which one of all those numbers you gave us do I call first to try to get some help?
That's right. That's right.
So the answer first is yes. We are required, we do a historic review of all properties before we perform any work on them. And then we work with our internal staff and the historic commissions that are involved in those neighborhoods when we develop the specs or the specifications for the work to be done to make sure that they follow the rules of the historic district.
So what's the first number I should try calling?
She said, what's the first number should she call?
So for the senior emergency, I would get on that list now. That's the 224-6380. Get on that list now. And then in the meantime, if there's something immediate that you want to get done, I would check out the 0% home loan program to see if you're eligible to at least get some of those repairs done immediately, okay?
Thank you. God bless you.
And ladies, before you leave, you're not going to leave after you finish this presentation, right? You're going to be in the back, right? So if anyone else has any questions for these three individuals, they'll be in the back. But before you leave, please again give out all of your contact information, who you are, and who to call.
Dana Christian, call our office 313-255-6275. Let them know you're interested in home repair grants.
Nicole Rodden-Bowen, Director of Single Family Housing. You can call our office directly at 313-224-6380. I also have cards in the back if there's still anyone left.
Tenay Lely, T-E-N-A-I. My last name is L-E-A-L-I. I work with the 0% home repair loan. My number is 313-297-0068.
Well, thank you again. We appreciate the information. Give them a round. They look like quiet. They just gave you a lot of information. So I want to make sure we recognize elected officials in the room. Sherry Gay Danyogo, State Representative, where are you? Anything you want to say to people?
Thank you so much. This is a great meeting. For those here that are in the 8th House District, we are serving our seniors Meals on Wheels Sunday, April 1st at 8:30 a.m. starting at Restoration Towers. A number of you volunteer already. We're always looking for volunteers. Thank you for hosting such a marvelous meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. And I know we have Ray Reg Davis, Commissioner, Wayne County Commissioner Ray Reg Davis. Y'all can come up here if y'all want to. Stephanie said, be short. And Stephanie, you might as well come up too, because if you got something you want to say.
Thank you, Councilman. No, I'll keep it very short. I just want to say this, everybody. I need your support. We need your support in this fight for mental health and mental illness in the city of Detroit and Wayne County. All right? I'll leave you with that. God bless. And I'll keep it short.
Record-breaking speech. Not my partner. Hey, man, but I'm in good hands.
So real quick, because we have so many new faces, Stephanie Young, District 1 Manager, Department of Neighborhoods. On the other side of the government, we got the fabulous James Tate as our council member, and then we have me representing the mayor's office. So, that's all. Good to see you all. We passed out a bunch of flyers. Hopefully you guys are on our email list. What I want to bring to your attention real quick is the Opportunity Fair this Thursday. We're having an Opportunity Fair in partnership with our council member James Tate as well as council member Janae Ayers. We're going to have job employment opportunities, after school opportunities for our young people. That's all right. That's good. I see he's excited about that. For people returning citizens. It's for everyone. So please join us Thursday, Cook Academy, Cook STEM Academy. That's at Pure. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep saying Wednesday, March 28th. I got something else on Thursday. Wednesday, March 28th from 4 to 7 at Cook, right there on Puritan and North Rosedale Park. All right, folks, and then Motor City Makeover is coming up. I got another meeting to talk about Motor City Makeover. Just put it in your minds. It's around the corner. Bless you all.
All right. Aaron Hall.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We've reached my favorite portion of the...
Still got the meeting going on, y'all?
In the back. All right, guys, a couple quick housekeeping things I wanted to get to before we do announcements. I know we have to do a rapid fire because there's a funeral that's actually going to use the room when we're done. So please be cognizant of picking up your trash and taking it with you. And kind of, mosey on outside a little bit faster than we usually do. They were gracious enough to allow us to use this beautiful building, right? Yeah. All right, good. Second correction I wanted to make is that on the bottom of your sheet, we like to let you know what date the next District 1 meeting is. It should say April 28th, not March 28th, okay? We don't want anybody showing up to a meeting that's not happening. So April 28th, and that location will be sent out in the near future. We're now going to take announcements. If you have a community event coming up, if you have a meeting or a program you'd like to let the community know about, you can form a line to the right of me, and we have 30 seconds. Anybody, there we go. We have one. We have two.
Come on up.
Right here. Remember, guys, we still have a meeting going on, so please be aware. Keep the sound down.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is George Etheridge, and I, like many people in this room, am a precinct delegate. This year is a very important year. We have many statewide positions that are up for election, from governor to secretary of state to attorney general. Here in District 1, we've been having all of our statewide candidates come out. This coming April 10th, which is a Tuesday at 6:30, the Casa Rouge Civic Association will be hosting two gubernatorial candidates, Gretchen Whitmer and Cherie Tanagar. We would love for you to come out, ask your questions. Every single person that's on the ballot, you need to hold them accountable as to what they've done and what they intend to do. You can reach me directly at 313-590-5044. That's my personal cell phone number. I'm the president of Casa Rouge. We would love to have you out. We meet at the Detroit Leadership Academy right at Virgil and Davison. The address, yes ma'am, my phone number 313-590-5044. 313-590-5044. My name is George Etheridge. The address is 13550 Virgil. Again, April 10th at 6:30, we have two gubernatorial candidates coming to speak to you. They want to hear from you. The endorsement convention's coming up April 15th. This is an opportunity for you to have your voices heard. Thank you.
What time?
6:30, April 10th, at the Detroit Leadership Academy.
Folks in the back, if you can please keep the hum down, because these are important announcements for the community as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Green, and I am a member of Toastmasters. For those of you who may not know, Toastmasters is an organization that helps you reduce your ums, ands, and ahs, and improve on your speaking presentations. We meet second and fourth Tuesday at Fellowship Chapel from 6 p.m. to 7:30 in one of the meeting rooms. Anybody interested, you can see me afterwards or call me at 313-590-2114. And thank you and have a great day.
Okay. All the libraries have free classes. It's free for everybody. Just show up. It's all here. All right.
Lots of free program at Detroit Public Libraries. We have 2 in District 1, Redford Branch and Cheney Branch on Grand River Avenue.
Hi, I'm advocating for, or assistant to Monique Baker McCormick, and she's going to be having a forum on April 16th at her office on James Cousin, and she'd like for you to come out to get to know her better. And I have some flyers so you can call her or email her right over there at the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have our last announcement. Okay, well, Councilman, back to you.
Yeah, just want to thank everyone for coming out to this phenomenal meeting. We had how many people here today? 200? Y'all, what's that number? Well, I know the last number I had was over 170, so you all give yourself a round of applause for 200 at a community meeting on a Saturday morning. So we want to thank you all for being here, and don't forget to join us next month, where we have a whole host of other issues. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you.